Hello, friends. Thank you for tuning in to Landing America podcast today. How have you been? I have been a little bit sick past few days. I had a runny nose, I've been congested, and I've been telling myself I need to get better, I need to feel better, I need to sound better to record an episode because I don't want to sound like a clogged tube or something. And so I've been procrastinating. At the same time, the past few weeks have been rough. I've been going through a lot of personal shit. And I don't know about you, but when I'm going through some stuff, the last thing I want to do is to be creative, is to be productive. I honestly just want to get in my bed and sleep and stay there forever. But I decided that I'm going to push through. I'm going to push through this period of my life. I'm going to push through this sickness. And I went to work out this morning. I felt really sick this morning, but I was like, I'm going to work out, you know. I started working out 2 months ago on a regular basis, and I love it. And I just told myself, you know what? I'm just gonna work this virus out of my body. I don't know if it worked. I'm gonna tell you how I wake up tomorrow. But thinking about this situation, it brought me back to the times when I decided to move to the US. And every time I think about this experience, about moving continents, about leaving my family and all my friends behind, leaving my whole previous life behind, packing my 2 suitcases and going places I've never been before. The idea that I was able to do that gives me so much power. It fuels me, and I just look at myself and I'm like, what the hell are you doing right now? You're literally laying in bed, pitying yourself, and you're not able to set up the microphone and you're not able to set up the camera and record something because of this bumpy period in your life because you're sick. You've been able to literally turn your life around 180 degrees, and you did it with excitement. You did what so many people dream about and never do. And now you're just laying in bed, looking in the ceiling, unable to do your job and record a podcast. And I was just like, no. I was just like, I can do it. I can do anything I put my mind into. I can work out and transform my body. I can quit my job, my full time, stable, well paid job, and start my own business. I can do anything. And so here we are, 9 p.m. on a Thursday evening. I'm recording an episode that unfortunately is releasing a little bit later, but I know you guys are very understanding, and I I'm so grateful for you. I'm receiving so much love since I started working on this podcast. I've received so many messages, so much positivity, so much encouragement. So many people have been inspired by me, which is insane to think about. But I was just checking the analytics today, and I've seen that I've been listened to from over 30 countries in the world, and that just blows my mind. 30 countries. I'm just like, what? I am so overwhelmed with the idea that people around the world are listening to my voice, and that they're listening to what I have to say, and they're interested in my experiences and in my advice and knowledge and in the stories of the guests that I'm bringing on. It makes me feel responsible. It gives me the drive, you know. I am being really hard and bossy on myself. I always try to, keep the deadlines, and I really consider this a job same as any other. I've in my previous job, I have before I quit my my last job, I was telling myself for so many months that if I am able to devote my life, my time, my energy, my stress, my dedication into someone's business, I can do that with my own business, and I can blow to the fucking moon. And today I wanted to talk about one specific topic, which is struggles of the immigrants, because I feel like this topic is really underrated, and I don't think it is talked about a lot. I don't think many people who are not immigrants can understand what immigrants have to go through. I'm pretty sure there will be people who will say, oh, well, if immigrants are suffering so much, well, then go back to your country. Or why did you come here and then complain? Blah, blah, blah. Uh, but you know what? People just want to move to the different country for many reasons. They're not happy in their own country, like people do not decide in what country they are born. You do not decide, you do not pick your parents. You do not pick your siblings. You do not choose your family. You are just thrown into this location as a baby, and that shapes your whole life, your whole mentality, your everything. And as a child, you just accept everything as it is. You absorb everything and you think that this is life and this is correct and this is how things are supposed to be and this is how the country is supposed to be and this is how people are supposed to behave, and everything is normal for you until you start traveling. And then you start traveling and you realize, oh my god, this is so much nicer. This place is so much more beautiful. This weather is so much warmer. The lifestyle over there is better than what I'm used to. In this country, people make more money. In the other country, people are smiling. In some countries, people don't suffer. And you just want to explore. Everybody wants a better life. That's why I am always very upset with people who are expressing hate towards immigrants, because okay, you're privileged enough to be born in a first world country. And you know what, even then you're complaining and you're depressed and you live in your little bubble where you think that, oh my god, my life is so bad. Yeah, right. uh, and then you tell immigrants, go back to your country. Yeah, how about you go to their country? Hmm? How about you go to developing countries? How about you go to third world countries and see how you're doing there? Hmm? Just go and explore and let me know if you're happier there. Because I really think that immigrants are very brave, very driven, very hardworking people who want better life. And they go through so much shit. Like this hate from whoever is hating on them is nothing, right? Like you can be hating, we don't care. There is so much more struggle people go through once they move countries. But there is one more thing I wanted to mention before I go into this topic fully, is that I remember when I decided to travel to the US for the first time. I was scared. I didn't really feel that I am ready. I didn't feel I'm ready. But I was determined and I was manifesting it. Recently, I found out that manifesting is so powerful, so much more powerful than I ever thought it was. And I remember that I wanted to go to Florida, to Miami in 2018. And it was still a year 2017. And I created an account on one website and it was asking me to create a password, right? And obviously, usually people put everywhere the same password with like little small changes. what I did, I created my password that consisted of those words: Miami, Florida, and 2018. And every time I was logging into that website, I was reminding myself what I want. And now, after many years, when I logged into the website with that password, it just reminded me how I just manifested it. And so I would advise you guys to do the same thing. If you really want to move places, if you want to live in a different country, if you want to have a better life, if you want to have a better relationship, if you want to live differently, if you want to look differently, just manifest it. Just say it out loud. Say it, I want this, and send it to the universe. Send it to the God. Pray, and it will happen. So, struggles of immigrants. I think the biggest one is the separation from the family. I think a lot of people are unable to move from their hometown for the majority of their life, for that reason that they are very close to their family and they are worried to be far from them. I miss my family on a daily basis. I talk to them often, but talking on the phone is not the same as talking in person. You, after a certain time, you start feeling like you're missing out. You know, you're missing out on birthdays, you're missing out on Christmases. You might have old parents and you don't know how long they are going to be here with us. You're missing on your siblings' children being born, being a godmother. You're missing out on so many important events. And also you start feeling like a little bit of detachment or sort of like being estranged from your family members because you're not with them on a day-to-day basis. And you're changing. They are changing. I was in shock when I came home after 3 years not seeing my family in person. And I was shocked seeing how much older my parents looked compared to what I remembered. You know, 3 years doesn't do much when you're in your 30s, but when you're in your 60s or 70s, 3 years can do a big difference, you know, in the posture, in your height, in your walk. And in my case, it was only 3 years, but I know people who haven't seen their families for 5, 10, 15 years. The other day, I've seen a video where the family reunited after 23 years. Can you imagine not seeing your mother for 23 years? I just wish people who are hating on immigrants understood how privileged they are. They don't have to go through so much shit. Another thing I wanted to mention as the part of struggles that immigrants go through, And I'm saying all of this for you not to put you off or to scare you or to not follow your dream. I just want you to be prepared, okay? I want you to know what you're going into, all right? Because moving continents is moving continents. It's freaking far. it's it's a long as flight or flights. So be prepared. So another thing that's difficult is the paperwork. If you move to the US, there's this whole headache of getting a visa, getting a green card, all that stuff we're talking about the whole time. So be prepared that this takes time. It's stressful. It costs a lot of money sometimes, most of the times. And just make sure you don't overstay your visa. Just do everything properly. Try to do everything properly. Because if you overstay your visa as a tourist, for example, or I don't know, if you get here in some illegal way or whatever, you won't have proper documentation. You will not have social security number and you will not have work permit. And life without these documents is really complicated here. You without social security number, you cannot open a bank account. You cannot rent an apartment. So you are dependent on other people to accommodate you as a roommate. You are not able to buy a car. You are not able to get a health insurance. You're going to feel like nobody, basically. Like you kind of like don't exist in this country, you know what I mean? And with no work permit, like it's really difficult to get a job, almost impossible. And even if you get a job, you work illegally, so you are worried and you're stressed that what if somebody finds out? What if a police will come to you and put you in jail or deport you? This stress of deportation is really big and takes a big toll on you. And I've been talking to a lot of people who have been in this situation. And for many years, they felt like roaches, you know, like like it takes a toll on your self-confidence. You feel like you're nobody in this country. You're just playing it low key and you don't want to get in any trouble. But it's so stressful all those years. And obviously all the living conditions are so much harder. So maybe people in your country will see your videos that you post that you're in the US and they'll be like, oh, how did you get there? Oh my God, he's so lucky. Oh my God, she's living such a good life. And you'll be here like, yeah, okay, come and try. With that being said, not being able to have a decent job is another struggle that you might go through if you're an immigrant, even if you're a documented immigrant. America is expensive. It's so expensive that if you don't make money, it's impossible. You you're gonna you're gonna have bills to pay, which are expensive. Everything is expensive, and so if you don't have money, you are fucked. If you don't work for a month or two, you're done. You're done here. Um, Next thing I wanted to talk about is the language barrier, and I think this is a big one because even if you speak good English, every culture and every country has their own phenomena in a language. And to be honest, I remember my first few months here, I went to see a stand-up comedy. And stand-up comedians here, they speak very fast, they speak very loud, they're yelling for the most part. And obviously there are also different ethnicities. I've been sitting there and I didn't understand shit. I didn't understand anything what they were saying, and I was just laughing when I saw other people laughing. But I had no idea what they're saying, and I was so frustrated. American accent is just hard, and every state has their own accent here too. And plus, I moved to the place that's 90% Hispanic, so everyone was talking Spanish to me. And, with my looks, everybody thought I'm a Latina. And I was getting upset all the time. I'm like, why do you speak Spanish to me? I don't speak Spanish. Please speak English. And they wouldn't even try to speak English. So, yeah, even if I had a good English, I was frustrated with this Spanish factor here that I was not aware about. I knew there is a lot of Hispanic people here, that's what I knew, but I thought that if they moved to the US, they would learn the language. But no, not in Miami. um, so, anyway, I think these are the most significant struggles that every immigrant goes through. Everybody goes through this phase of assimilation and becoming more and more American. And I think the last thing that I wanted to mention is that once you live here and then you go back to your country and back to your family, you are a different person. You changed. And they don't understand it. People in your family, they don't see it, they don't understand it. They still consider you that you're that little 13-year-old girl that has not been through so much shit because they don't know, because you're not gonna tell them everything that was, you know, hard, because you don't want to worry them so much. So you go back and it feels like life there is just unchanged. Everything there is the same, and you are someone else now. So I hope this episode brings some value, gives you a little bit of an insight, and prepares you for what's coming. if you're ready to move places, if you're ready to travel the world. I hope that you will let me know what you thought about this episode. I want to hear from you. I love to hear your feedback. I love to get your questions. I started this podcast based on the fact that when I came to the US, I've been receiving so many messages from so many people. They wanted to know, how is it? How did it happen? What's going on? Until this day, I receive random messages from random friends who I haven't been talking to for 15 years. And they ask me about the life here. So I know that you guys want to know what's going on. And I encourage you to reach out to me and let me know your thoughts. I would love for you to also give me ideas for the new topics so that we can keep going. Give me a review, because that's what helps me grow. And if you are someone who has been born in the US, I would love to encourage you to try to look at things from other people's perspectives as well, and be understanding and be welcoming and be compassionate, because sharing is caring. Thank you so much. See you next time.